there's like these little ribbon things which have been guiding the way. So we got rid of the orange triangles at the start, and now I'm just trying to find my way back. In this video I am going to be hiking up in the Kaimai range, Kaimai-Mamakū Forest Park, and I am going to be heading up to Te Whare Okioki Hut via Hurunui Hut, and there is a bunch of different ways that you can get into the Kaimai range, because you've got Tauranga on one side, you've got the Waikato on the other side, you've got Rotorua down south, you've got Coromandel up north, and in between all of that you've got the Kaimai range, and so as you would imagine there are entry points from all of those areas, and so you have a plethora of different ways that you can get into this park. I have chosen to come down to Henderson Tramline track west, narrow little gravel road to get in, pretty remote little spot, and then you've got a car park over here where it looks like a few cars are already up there, maybe stayed up there last night, and I've chosen to come do this on a Sunday night because it looks like there's lots of space. However, the hut that I'm heading to looks like it gets booked out most of the weekends, so I've chosen to come on a Sunday night and potentially have the whole hut to myself. But some of the other huts up here don't look as though they get as much use. Some of the ones that are a bit more backcountry and not as mainstream as the one I'm heading to, but because this is my first time in the Kaimai, I'm keen to just go out and do a bit of an explore and just kind of see what it's about. The reason that I have chosen the Henderson Tramline, so there's two tramlines. There's one that I'm going on today which I'll go up on, and this is Henderson Tramline West, and then there is Henderson Tramline North, which is another route which I'll take on the way back, and then I'll loop back down around the road. And the reason I've chosen those tracks is purely because I love some of the old bush history, and so hopefully I'm going to see a bit of history today on these old tramline tracks, and I'll give you a bit more of an update of what that's all about, or some of the history further into this video. It's pretty unfortunate that only 5-10 minutes into this hike you already come across a bit of vandalism. The old penis marker. Come on team, if you're out here hiking in nature or enjoying the bush, just try and have as minimal impact as possible so we can all enjoy it, and so can our future generations. No penis markers, even though it's funny. So I'm about 45 minutes in. It's pretty thick in here. And so the track notes are that you're following an old tram line, and at the end of the tram line you follow the haul lines. It's old timber haul lines where they haul the timber through the forest floor. And it gets pretty thick, and it's not the best marked track, so already I have kind of gone off track about 2 or 3 times, and it's a clear, beautiful day. I'd hate to think of what this would be like when it was raining. It would probably be a lot more difficult, and your morale would be a lot lower, and visibility would be a lot lower, but luckily for me it's a nice, beautiful, clear, fine day, so it's okay for me to sort of meander about and find my way. There's like these little ribbon things which been guiding the way, so we got rid of the orange triangles at the start, and now I'm just trying to find my way back to one of the orange triangles, or one of the orange ribbons. I think there was one through here, but yeah, I will show you as soon as I find one again what they look like. But yeah, very easy to get disorientated and lost in this kind of environment. So I've done a fair bit of backtracking. I don't like to go too far without having sighted a marker, in the hopes that it is easy enough for me to find my way back. But yeah, I'm having a bit of a mission. So I've literally just found one of the markers now, which is good. This is all that we're working off. This little orange tie bits of thing, orange bits of material hanging up in the tree line, and I will try to figure out where this next one is. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's an hour 30 in, and I have been following those orange ribbons that have been tied up in the trees, and at different parts they fork off into different paths, and then I followed another one for about another half hour, ended up in some pretty thick vines and jungle. So what I've done is I've come to the top of a hill, and turns out, luckily for me, that I've got some cell phone reception, so I just sat down just to get my bearings before, because I was thinking maybe I've just missed a turn off, or I have not been paying attention and I've walked off track. And so what I'll do is I'll backtrack following those orange markers, but I came to the top of a hill just to take a bit of a break and get my bearings. Thought I'd check my phone. Turns out I got a reception. And the good thing about Google is I literally just typed in where am I, and because it can pick up where my cell phone is, you can see, I think you can see that anyway. I'm the blue dot, and as you can see I'm quite far off track. I should be following that little green dotted line about halfway up the oh, not even halfway, man, I still got ages to go. Anyway, I'm going to backtrack, see if I can find that green dotted line. But yeah, good lesson today to make sure that you're paying attention, even if you're following well-marked tracks, because I must have just been looking off into the distance or something, taken one wrong turn somewhere, saw those orange ribbons, thought that that's what the trail markers were, and have continued along that path for probably 45 minutes to an hour. So literally only took me about half an hour to get lost, and then about an hour to figure out that I am lost, and then it's probably going to take me another half hour to get back to the track. So yeah, I've probably added a bit of time on today, but yeah, good experience though, good experience. Lucky I've got good weather, and also just a good experience, good reminder to, don't go too far off track. If you can't see things that are familiar to you, just stop, recalibrate, think about things, and luckily for me I did do a little bit of reading up on the trail beforehand, but there's not really comprehensive track notes anywhere. It's all pretty vague and pretty short. Alright, so I've backtracked a wee way back up the track, and I think I have found where I went wrong, which is a very easy mistake. So this is the track. I have come up here, track, walking along, it keeps going straight, as you can see it's well trodden, lots of people have obviously come along this route, and so I'm walking along, and of course there's another haul line down to the left of me, or at least it looks like a haul line, it looks man-made, so I think I'm on the right track. And then you see orange markers or ribbons in the tree line here, so start following these because you can see them, they make up a track. So another one there, another one there, another one there. I don't know if that's another route, a hunter's route, or something completely different, but it was very easy to do. I mean, if you're looking down at those haul lines, you know, checking out the old history, walk straight past it. So it looks like I am back on track. Orange marker, so it's good. I don't have to go home with my tail between my legs and embarrassingly tell my girlfriend that I got lost and had to quit. So yeah, we'll keep you updated. So now that we're back on track, I've come across the first kind of remains of the old tram line. So one of the things I love about hiking, getting out in the bush, is just seeing all these old relics of yesteryear, and then imagining, you know, like back in the day, there used to be people whose job and life was doing this stuff, right? And they did it all by hand, and they did all these great engineering feats, you know, and you know, sometimes we can't even bother getting off the couch, you know, to go outside type thing. And this was these guys' life, you know. They were, you know, hand digging in big stuff like this in the forest, putting in railway sleepers, putting in tramway lines, milling, doing forestry and stuff like that. And they would have lived out here, tented out here, done this every day. You know, they would have had people servicing them, have to get all their gear. And it just fascinates me that I'm walking in, you know, part of history. And of course there's a lot of other rich Māori history within this area as well. And so hopefully I can come across some of that as well, or learn some more about that. But yeah, it's just so cool. So we've got, it's been a bit of a boggy slog. You can see a whole bunch of mud all the way out here. And then here you see first railway sleepers. So here's some old railway sleepers all throughout here, where the old tram and tram line would have hauled timber, would have brought timber, you know, from the top of the Kaimai down to the bottom, probably taken out to Tauranga. But yeah, very cool. I love this stuff. Coming up on Hurunui Hut. So this hike should have taken me about 2.5 hours to 3 hours. And because I got lost, it has taken me 4 hours and 12 minutes so far. Normally if I'm doing like a multi-day hike or an overnight hike or something like that, I try to do roughly 3 to 4 hours for a first day, just to break the body in slowly. Don't spend too much energy, you know, allow your body to get used to carrying a load and that kind of thing, you know, and allow yourself to get pack fit as you go. But since I'm only out here for a night, I thought I'd start pushing it. If I want to keep carrying on, it's going to take me another 3 hours to get to Okioki Hut, which is a big first day for me. So yeah, I'm just going to take a wee rest at Hurunui Hut and just see how I feel, really. Otherwise I might just crash here. The weather's also packing in a little, starting to get a little bit cloudy and windy. So if it starts raining, then that's going to affect my decision as well to carry on. But yeah, check this out. Here we go. There's Hurunui Hut. Nice little hut. Oh, very cool. Oh, a lot of rubbish being left in there. Fireplace, intentions book. Looks like someone might be set up here. Looks like a hunter. Looks like there's some hunting gear in here. Looks like they might be crashing out in here. Got to pack some gear, some hunting gear. They might be out hunting at the moment. And looks like a dog bowl and stuff sitting in the dog kennel. So yeah, I love little huts like this. These are awesome. Such cool huts. So I have left. I have decided to leave Hurunui Hut and head up to Te Whare Okioki, which was the original plan. Obviously I'm an hour and a half or so, or a couple of hours behind schedule, so this is going to be a big day. I'll be pretty tired, I think, by the time I get there. Yeah, but also that hut is free to stay in, so managed in conjunction with the New Zealand Deerstalkers Association and Department of Conservation dock, and together they maintain that hut, but it's free to stay in, so no booking. You can literally go in there first in, first served. So if you're in there early, no, it doesn't look. I had a look at the intentions book. So each hut will have an intentions book where you write down where you're intending to go to and your intended dates at those places. So if anything does happen, they can read your kind of last entry in a book type thing to get an idea for where you might be if you get lost. But yeah, it didn't look like a heck of a lot of people. Didn't look like a heck of a lot of people go in to the hut. So yeah, and looks like most entries are either one or two people staying there. So it looks like the chances of getting a bed there pretty high. So yeah, I might go back and stay at that one time, because I love those little character huts. They're what backcountry tramping is all about for me. Whoop, let's go into there's a few river crossings. Most of them aren't too bad, especially if it's not raining, but I'd imagine if there's a bit of rain, they might be heaving. So hopefully we don't get any rain tonight or tomorrow. It's been 7 hours and 14 minutes, so I've obviously made some time up, which is good, but finally made it. Man, my legs are pooped. Here we go. This is our palace tonight. It's all pretty flash and new to me. This is inside the hut. 12 bunks, it's got solar lights, and a nice fireplace and big outdoor deck that you saw when you came in, and then just making a cup of tea, getting some energy back after today. Good morning. So, new day. It's a bit misty and clouded today. Had some rain overnight, but nothing too dramatic, so I think the streams should be fine to cross over today. As you can see, the front of Te Whare Okioki, nice big grass section, picnic tables and stuff, I end up being, when I booked, so I booked this hut the night before I came in, and no one had booked, so it looked like I was the only one in the hut. When I got here, there was someone here, and she said that she had booked in the morning, and then 10 minutes after I arrived, 4 other people turned up, so they must have late booked even later than yesterday morning. So that was quite interesting. This morning for breakfast, we're doing backcountry cooked breakfast, which is freeze-dried smoky beef, tomato, egg, hash brown, and potato mix. The best way to describe it is it's essentially tomato-flavoured mashed potato, little beef chunks, and egg chunks. It's not too bad, but to be honest, when you're out here and you are depleted of energy and you're hungry, almost anything tastes incredibly good. So while if I was in civilization and I was eating that, I'd probably think it tastes horrible. After you've hiked for 7.5 hours, 7.25 hours, it starts tasting really good. Your body needs it. The other thing which I thought I'd try out today was the backcountry banana smoothie. So like most of these meals, you just add water, mix them up. This here you give a shake, and it's a smoothie ready to go. Not bad. It tastes pretty good. It tastes like a banana milkshake. I shaked this really hard before, but still got lots of chunks in it. So you get little chunks of flavour, which isn't that nice, but the whole thing's pretty tasty wee snack. You always want to make sure that you tidy up before you leave. Clean these huts up nice and tidy. It's really nice when you've been out hiking all day and you come into a nice clean hut where you don't have to tidy stuff up to enjoy it, The other thing, another good reason why you should tidy up before you leave is because you also have no idea what sort of state people are going to be in when they come into these huts, so people can come in hypothermic, they can come in cold, wet, and miserable. For instance, yesterday I got lost, I came in pretty tired. Just make sure that you're thinking of others and you're doing your bit to leave things the same way they were, if not better, so that when people come in, they can enjoy the hut as well. Restock the firewood, wipe down the benches, sweep off the floors, put the mattresses up so that rat poos don't get all over it. Takes all 5 to 10 minutes, and it's the least that we can do just to say thanks for having us, really, and help maintain this hut for longevity, and so that all of that maintenance doesn't rest solely on the shoulders of volunteers. Alright, and away we go for today. So hopefully we don't get lost today. I don't think we will. I think I've got my bearings and understand the route that I have to go down today. one of the many river crossings. I can feel a few spits of rain. Oh yeah, it's just started raining. So I'm glad that we are hopefully over most of the hard river crossings. Otherwise, these could really pick up really quickly, and the river level, water level can rise really quick. But I would not like to be crossing these if it's been raining really heavy. Luckily I think this is the hardest one today, and it's only just starting to rain, so fingers crossed we're good for the rest of the day. That's it, all finished for today. So I have got back to the car, put on a fresh set of clothes, which is one of my favourite things after tramping, is to come back, put on some fresh clothes, change out of the dirty, sweaty tramping gear, and I am sitting in the car ready to take off back at the Henderson Tramway South car park. Today came down, stopped at Hurunui Hut again for some lunch, just had a Snickers bar and a drink and a bit of a rest, and then made my way down Henderson Tramline North. Now there was way more quite a few more sections of old railway sleepers and things from the old tramline down the Tramline North, Henderson Tramline North. I didn't get lost today, so that was good. Yeah, so I didn't film any of the tramline today, just because the places where it was quite dark, but very cool, very worthwhile. Okay, so recap on this trip. Day one, started Henderson Tramline South, headed north, got lost within 30 minutes, started bush bashing, following little orange ribbons. That put me behind an extra hour and a half / 2 hours, and then I ended up having to backtrack and found where I went wrong and where I missed the turn. It was a very easy mistake, and I could see that the path was well trodden, so a lot of people have obviously gone down that path as well. And I know that for myself, I often think, because I've done a fair bit of tramping, how could anyone possibly get lost on a lot of these tracks? And yesterday I proved exactly how that can happen. But I have a general rule of thumb, which is I won't go much further than 5 to 10 minutes past a marker of some sort, just because it's so easy to get lost in some of these dense bush areas. You don't know the terrain. You could be falling off a cliff or into, down a riverbank, whatever. And if you injure yourself, it's a lot harder to, I guess, find you if you're off the beaten track. Went up, stopped at Hurunui Hut on the way through for lunch, and then pushed on, met a hunter, possum hunter, who sells possum fur for $90 a kilo, makes a living doing that, so they obviously trap enough possums. I saw in the book someone come up and trapped 80 possums, and then a couple of weeks prior to that had trapped 110 possums, so obviously a lot of possums up there. Then I pushed on another 2.5, 3 hours to Whare Okioki Hut, and that's a newish hut. It's got solar panels on the roof, therefore you get light. The track itself is quite, today came down, reversed that same track until I got to the north junction of the Henderson tramline. Came down there, you finish out on a cool little farm area, and you cut through a farm, and then you're out in all this beautiful rolling green farm area out the back of Tauranga. So yesterday took me 7 hours 15 minutes roughly, because I got lost and I was absolutely shattered by the time I got there. And today took me 5 hours 30, so much better today. The track itself, so you don't see a lot on these tracks. My favourite section is the Tramlines, just because of the history. I love seeing the old railway sleepers. So that was, it was logged from 1936 from the Henderson Timber Company, and they used to be extracting hardwoods and stuff like that out of there, and hauling them down on the tram lines. And then eventually I think they changed to tractor, and tractor would pull out of there, and then the mill closed in 1957 after they had used up all the resources in there. But I love all the history. I love thinking about how, that would have been back-breaking labour work, kind of pioneering stuff sort of thing. It's a real testament to, I guess, that Kiwi ingenuity and number 8 wire mentality, and it's where the kind of backbone from our country sort of comes from, and that real can-do attitude, which I love. So that to me is just cool. My imagination runs wild when I see all that stuff, and I just kind of picture what it would have been like back in the day. So that was real cool. The track itself going up to Whare Okioki, it's very dense bush. You don't see a lot. There's some beautiful rivers in there, beautiful streams and stuff, crystal clear streams and stuff. So those are really nice. But a lot of bog, so especially after a bit of rain. Good luck keeping your feet dry on this track. So very boggy, a lot of falling over trees, which you have to either crawl under or go around or get over, and then very slippery track as well. So I saw hundreds of boot slides and boot marks on the banks and on the clay floor. So yeah, that, and then also when you're stepping over the trees and stuff like that, you get your feet caught in vines, and then you're kind of tripping and whatnot. So all of that adds up. So I probably arsed up about 3 or 4 times on this trip, completely legs up in the air, muddied butt, having to pick myself up. I only had one instance where I landed on a bit of a sharp stick, which poked me in the back of the butt. Wasn't that great. But yeah, all of that added up, adds a lot of, I guess it puts a strain on the energy and adds to the depletion of energy, constantly working your way around bogs, or, getting wet, muddy feet, having to traverse rivers, getting your feet caught in vines, constantly slipping, all that stuff adds a toll to, I guess, how much energy is required to do this track. So I would definitely say it's probably a more advanced track. The Henderson Tramline track can actually be done as like a little day loop, so you can actually park at one end and walk up, meet up with the north-south track, and then come down the other tram line depending on which direction you start on. But again, both of those are quite boggy as well and slippery, but I think that would be quite worthwhile. If I did this again, I'd probably shoot up to either Hurunui Hut and stay there first, or I'd start from the other side and maybe go to Mamakū Hut. And on the dock website and on the brochures, etc., I found they're not very comprehensive track notes. So I know that it says that Mamakū Hut is unmarked, and it basically gives you a GPS bearing, but it actually is marked and signposted. So I saw the signs and the orange markers going up there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to coming out and exploring some more of this stuff. Overall, enjoyed it. Pushed myself definitely far too hard on this track. Got a couple of blisters and some sore muscles, aches and pains, and very tired because of how long I have been walking. I am probably more of a weekend warrior style hiker, tramper. I get out once every sort of couple months, whatever. I'm not super pack fit, But I love this stuff. I've been doing it for years, and I love getting out and exploring our backyard and different hikes, and I'd love to get into some more international stuff too. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this tramp, this hike with Mike. If you did like it, or if you've got any questions, chuck them in the description below. Make sure you smash that like button and that subscribe button. That really helped me out. This has been my first ever tramping vlog, and I got lost for the first time ever. Oh no, I got lost once when I was a kid with my old man, but yeah, first time doing a vlog and I got lost, which was pretty silly of me, but good lesson and good outcome. But yeah, I'm off to go and probably grab a cold Coke or a beer and make my way home. So thanks very much for watching. Take it easy. Bye.